A Mig sandwich.
A Matthew sandwich. Because
So
we are all the...
Ako yung palaman.
We're the bread.
Kayo yung tinapay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's either the Matt sandwich episode or the Me Mommy episode.
Bread.
Matthew Migs. Yeah, bread.
Lale lilo lu.
bread. Yeah.
Lale lule lo. Come on, man.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no.
You got to get your Metal Gear references right.
I'm a fake Metal Gear fan. You know that.
So, what's up, guys, and welcome to the TMG podcast, episode number 206.
206.
Am I right? 206. So, unfortunately, our boss man, Carlos, isn't here to join us. So, I'm going to be your host for this episode. Me, Miguel, from toomuchgaming. And with me, of course, is Matthew.
Hello.
And last but not least, Migoy.
Oh, yo.
So, you guys, have you ever wondered why I shouted that word?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you why. Because last week, the EA Play event happened and Skate was announced without anything that was shown. So, I'll take it, but you know, it's Skate. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very happy for all Skate fans. I'm very excited for.
Oh, dude.
You know, like whenever I
fucking
hear
happy
about Skate fans talking about how excited they are about the next Skate or how much they have missed Skate, I'm like, these are God's children waiting for salvation, waiting for hope.
Oh God.
Waiting for light at the end of the tunnel. And you know,
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad that EA has permitted the people at their studios to announce the game. Unfortunately, what did we get, Samson?
Just an announcement. I mean, they just announced that they're developing it, and you know what? That's fine.
I mean, this is
we'll take it.
This is shades.
I mean, it's been like how many years?
It's been way too long.
Waiting?
It's been a console generation.
Yeah. How many years have we been rioting every year outside the gates of E3, trying to demand we have another Skate game? I was there last year. I was there.
The year before that.
In LA, yeah.
In spirit.
No. I was there in LA along with Matt because we went there. We covered E3, as you remembered.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years.
It's been, Jesus Christ, it's been 10 years.
Exactly 10 years.
We were having a cheeseburger.
We're having a cheeseburger, yeah. While we're listening to Cheeseburger. That's how you celebrate Skate.
Yep.
Properly.
Yep, with a cheeseburger.
Yeah. So, aside from, you know, the Skate announcement, if you ever call that an announcement.
I mean, you know, okay, let's take the rant from before the show started forward into the actual show. And I just want to say, like, you know, this kind of announcement is ridiculous. Now, I don't mean to dunk at the expense of Skate fans. Like I said earlier, I'm happy for them that they're going to get Skate 4, that you're going to get Skate 4, and
I'm going to get Skate 4.
And you, Mendoza, are going to get a Skate 4, and everybody is going to get a Skate 4. I'm happy for that. But really, I don't know if we can congratulate EA and the boys just for announcing. You know what I mean? Like, show us something. Tell us a feature set. Like, tell us, is Skate going to be a brand new open world skating experience? Tell us. Or say, like, hey, will some cool skater guy like be part of, like, have they been signed on? What cool new bands maybe will be playing for the soundtrack or whatever? Just any little morsel that can get us hyped. Even Nintendo knows better than to, like, not to tease something without showing a little bit of evidence, even if it's just a logo. You know what I mean? Like, and the impression we get is that they announced that this announcement was probably, like, approved the day of the conference. You know what I mean?
It really seems that way because we didn't even get, like, a proper title for this because they just said Skate. I don't think they said
game.
Yeah, they didn't say Skate 4 or anything.
They said
so it could be like a Skate subtext or whatever. Skate kickflip, you know.
Skate
PS5 white collar pop.
Mm-hmm. What's funnier is that when the stream was happening and me, Carlos, and Matt were were actually checking out the stream during that morning, and when they announced Skate, like the stream kind of went off for a few seconds.
Oh no!
So I thought, is EA fucking trolling us?
Oh, that's
Are they
why.
just pranking us? So, but actually, it's just that of a short announcement for Skate, which is okay, sure. But fine. I mean, we're gonna get a Skate. People are happy now.
Yeah.
But as for the rest of the EA Play event, like they actually did a pretty good job. Like, you could say that they kind of listened to some of their fans.
Yeah.
And some of the gamers, I guess. I mean, they did a lot of game announcements that support crossplay, which is awesome. And not just for like 2 or 3 platforms. Like we're talking about crossplay. Like for example, for Apex Legends, we now have crossplay for PC, PS4, Xbox, even the Switch, the Switch version, which will be released also this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's also crossplay on the Need for Speed game in Steam, which is Need for Speed.
Was it Heat? No.
Is it Heat?
I mean, yeah. They announced crossplay for Need for Speed Heat earlier this year, and that's already been implemented. And now they're gonna put it in Star Wars Squadron, and they're gonna put it in all their other games, like you said, Sam.
Right.
But I think what was really interesting about the EA Play conference was that I think it's sort of like a low-key Microsoft situation, which is that EA. Well, first of all, EA loves money. We already know that. Every publisher loves money, and the thing that has been holding back EA from making money is the fact that it's really hard to get into their games now. You know what I mean? Everything has gone exclusively through the Origin client. And the fact that most of their games were at the time like featured console exclusives content or did not feature crossplay meant the experience of getting into an EA game is not as accessible as it is to get into something like, say, Fortnite or Destiny 2 or any other like service game. And as I said in a previous episode, by going full on into Steam, by going full on into crossplay, they're basically saying, you know what? We'll take any opportunity to sell directly to consumers no matter what. Even if we don't control the platform, even if, everybody can play with each other. We don't care. Just buy our games and play our games. Give us money. And, if the gamers win because of that, then I'm all for it.
But yeah, I think that's mostly EA Play. Like, aside from that, yeah, we did get a glimpse of gameplay footage from Star Wars Squadron.
Yeah, it looked rad to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to ask you guys how you feel about that one. Like, are you guys excited for this video game that's coming out?
I mean, it all depends on how scummy EA makes, the accessibility of it. Because, I really enjoyed what little I played of both of the newer Battlefront games.
Yeah.
Like, the game itself, I enjoyed. It's gorgeous. Like, it appeals to my nerdgasm of Star Wars and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing about, all the nuances that came with both Battlefront games about, if you want everything, it's going to cost like over $200 total, etc., and all the lack of certain features and all that. And though they did do better in Battlefront 2 as it went on, it's not out of EA's history to pull, stunts like this. Like, we've seen it in, like, not as bad, but we've seen, their bad habits of, corporate evil in like the Battlefield games and all that.
Yeah.
And
all the DLC and the loot boxes.
Right. The loot boxes, like general lack of features that wouldn't warrant a full-priced game, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm optimistic. Also, I don't want to. I think I'm inclined to agree with Mendoza over here, but at the same time, I want to be optimistic. And you guys can rub this in my fucking face in the next few months.
Once it comes out.
When it comes out, but I'd like to think that EA has not necessarily learned their lessons, but for the short term, will try to avoid, and I mean short term, try to avoid, the kinds of controversies it is famous for, in order to have a smoother relationship with gamers. I mean, for example, I really like the fact that when they released Command and Conquer Remastered, that game was competitively priced. It's only about $15, I believe.
Right.
It was competitively priced. It was did not have any microtransactional bullshit stacked onto it, and they even released the source code for that game. Can you imagine a major AAA publisher releasing the source code?
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That doesn't mean anything to you and me, but imagine all the fans of old school video games and fans of Command and Conquer who are just chomping at the bit to disassemble that code and fucking play around with it. Like I was like, EA, is that you? You look like you changed.
Actually.
Right. That doesn't sound like an EA type of move.
Yeah. So, maybe, again, the best case scenario they've learned short term. Maybe excessively optimistic is that they learn permanently, but I don't think so.
I'm also hopeful for this game. During the announcement, they even noted that this is going to be like a $40 game. Like it's much more cheaper than AAA.
It's not a full priced one.
And they're promising that there's going to be no microtransactions.
Really?
Let's see. Also surprising is, of course, they say that it's going to have VR support, which is cool.
Yeah.
This might be the game that will make me buy a cheap VR set. But it's not
if such a thing exists.
Really cheap. Yeah, if such a thing exists.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And it has HOTAS support, which is the two component flight controller, flight sim controller.
That would be the one that people would be clamoring for, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And surprisingly, they're gonna have this game as a 5v5 format multiplayer game. And also, they're going to lock in on the cockpit view.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Like, that sounds really cool. And they did show that each type of, fighter would have a cockpit.
A different cockpit.
Unique to that, and I guess maybe even accurate to the Star Wars lore. That would reflect, their gameplay styles and all that. Like, the bomber would have a wider view, a smaller control scheme, because, its only function would be to literally drop bombs on things, etc., etc.
Well, now that we're talking less about EA, its rep, and its business model, and we're talking about the game itself, I guess I can go back and answer one of Samson's questions: is, are you excited about the game? And I'm like, you better believe I'm fucking excited.
Hell yeah! That game was sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I am old enough to have been of the generation with X-Wing and TIE Fighter. I tell you right now, you look up in my bedroom, I've got a copy of X-Wing Collector CD and TIE Fighter in their original boxes, bought for $60 back in 1994. So
damn.
Actually, Matt mentioned this during the stream where the developer was shown having the same set of books in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a bunch of Star Wars reference books and RPG materials, and I was like, hey, I have those too. I approve. but no, seriously, I'm really excited about the gameplay stuff that we're talking about right now, because a lot of it harkens back to that classic X-Wing Star Wars, and not just because it's a space sim, and not just because it's X-Wings and TIE Fighters, but because they even had that commitment to the cockpit stuff. Like, that was in the original X-Wing. Like, you couldn't, it wasn't, you had all the accurate displays and panels wherein the interface of the game is actually diegetically, there's a fancy college word for you, diegetically part of the game itself.
Right.
And and 5v5 guys, come on, sign up, form up on me.
Is that like how big does a Battlefield team game, like how many people can you have per squad?
In the normal Battlefield game, it's probably 4 per squad.
And then it's like a 32-32 or a 64-64 type of thing, right?
Yeah. I think they do that the same also in the Battlefront series.
I was kind of actually expecting more than a 5v5, but I don't know the technicality of it, but that would mean your map would have to be absolutely gigantic.
Yeah.
Which I guess, you could go both ways, where it's fucking space. You don't need to put, limitations in space, but then the things you can interact with should play a factor in it. Cause in Battlefront 2, right?
Yeah.
There were certain space segments, and it was pretty elaborate because big ships would have internals that you could literally fly into as part of your objective, and then you can actually have like a small like dogfight in there too.
Yeah.
There's also like mini side missions during those battles where there's a group of Y fighters who's actually going to attack your base. You have to get rid of this, and these are all AI or these are all CPU.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
NPCs.
Like, because it clearly showed more than 5 fighters in those stages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how important would the CPU players be in terms of that type of scale, or is it going to be really like objective specific, as we're more familiar with like the Battlefield and Battlefront games?
Well, the two gameplay modes they had were like the dogfighter mode, which is going to be straight up just whoever kills the most motherfuckers,
right.
wins. And then the other mode was the I believe it's the epic battles mode or something like that, and that's the one where it's more objective based, where it's like you gotta take down this generator, or close to what I think they did in Battlefront 2, where it was like you gotta push the objective, and every time you lose the objective, your objective changes, or if you win
it would change.
You change again. Yeah, that kind of stuff. I'm just really excited. What I need for my side missions, for all of y'all out there who might be fans of TIE Fighter, what I need is a mission where like some creepy ass cloak dude comes up to me and says like, "Hey, you want to become the secret hand of the Emperor? Do these super evil missions."
It might have like a cheeky story mode, because Battlefront 2 had what looked to be a pretty elaborate
single player mode.
Because that was a thing in TIE Fighter. Like you would become you would do secret objectives. That some of them were even objectives that were anti-Empire. Like like the Imperial generals would say like, you gotta do this, but secretly for the Emperor you're sabotaging something else, and only because it's part of the Emperor's long-term plan of how to get the rebels.
Right.
And you eventually graduate to become the right hand of the Emperor, or the Emperor's hand, which, by the way, is the official position that Mara Jade held before she defected from the Empire. And my nerd moment is done.
Not canon anymore.
Yeah, it's not canon.
Yeah,
subject to change without prior notice.
Sorry, Kyle Katarn.
Kyle Katarn's a piece of trash.
Mm-hmm.
He had in many games though.
Hey, fuck Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn can go fuck himself. This motherfucker who's all like, look at me, I'm a Han Solo swaggling smuggler.
I'm Han Solo with a lightsaber.
But I'm gonna
But I'm
help the
also a
rebels
Jedi.
out. And then he gets Jedi powers, and at the end of Jedi Knight, he's like, you know what? These Jedi powers, they're a curse. And he loses them. He gets distanced himself from the Force. And then later he reconnects with it. And I'm just like, this is a guy who's a Jedi of convenience, Only when it suits him, does he reconnect with the Force, and the rest of the time he's all like, he's a dilettante. Fuck that guy.
But that's just how the Force works, though. It works
That's
to the
not how the
convenience of
Force
story.
works.
That's how the Force totally works.
You're just provoking me into the lie.
All right, we have to wait until like Squadron releases until we end this feud. But whether
I just want to see more gameplay of it, because it does look really cool.
Yeah,
and hopefully, we get the good side of EA for this one.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
October 2, 2020, right? I believe.
Mm-hmm. So that's something to look forward to, and I guess that's basically what we're excited about in EA Play. So
the rest of the press conference felt very normal E3.
Safe.
Yeah, like they'd show the games
safe.
that we already know, and like, oh, this game I don't care about is getting an update. That's cool. Oh, Battlefield, sure, and then Sims, that's a thing.
Yeah.
So, parang like, I don't. For me, who was expecting things to sort of change because of the current situation we're in. Mm-hmm. And then I see it and like, right, this is how it would look if it was regular E3.
Well,
it kind of looks the same.
I do think the computer graphics for the EA Play conference were much more realistic. I thought, the guy, the CG for Greg Miller looked very, very true to life.
Dude, he was so accurate that it was annoying to me.
Yeah, but I think my favorite was when they brought out CG Joseph Fares, who is Joseph Fares. If you guys might not remember, he's the big boss of Hazelight Studios, one of the partner studios for the EA Originals program, and they're the guys who are behind A Way Out and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. They're kind of like this studio that specializes in co-op driven narrative adventures.
Yeah.
And they've got a new game called It Takes Two. They didn't show off a lot about it. I think it's basically just about you playing these toys that come to life that are helping this young girl go through a troubled time in her life. That's all I could surmise. But I thought what was really noteworthy and hilarious about that moment in the presentation was they tried to position Joseph Fares as a bad boy.
Yeah.
Because he had a reputation already from back in the Game Awards when he was like, fuck the Oscars, and like, trying to say things like EA is keeping it real, doesn't mess with the vision. Like he just runs around like mouthing off like a fucking rock star or something. I don't know. I think it's hilarious that they're trying to like those were moments that were clearly unplanned and sincere from Fares, but now EA is trying to position it as like a brand. And I'm like,
yeah, I mean,
okay,
you work with what you have, right?
Yeah, you work.
It worked for Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, who is Joseph Fares in Nintendo?
Oh, but like how Nintendo puts a face on their brand, and that kind of became a thing, and other companies started to do that by putting their CEO, up front for everyone, so that people can have someone to attach to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember how Sony even had the fake VP Kevin?
Yeah,
his name? Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Butler.
No.
Kevin Butler.
Kevin Butler. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I miss that guy.
Personally, my
miss
favorite,
someone like that in
favorite,
PlayStation.
Personality in Nintendo will always be Masahiro Sakurai of the Smash Studio.
Oh, dude, yeah. My heart belongs to Sakurai.
Because
actually, speaking of Smash and speaking of Nintendo,
I did not do that on purpose, but now I will pretend that I did.
So yeah, speaking of Smash and Nintendo, we have a new announcement about Smash Bros. And its new challenger, Miggy.
Yeah, they finally announced the new character for the upcoming new Fighters season for Smash Ultimate.
So is this a new season or like a second season, or is it part of the original season?
I think it's the third season now.
Oh, really? Oh my
so
god!
A new set of characters.
Okay, so
or second. It might be the second.
So who's the new character?
So the first character on the lineup, they teased it before where it was going to be an ARMS character. And people were going like, oh my god, it's going to be Springman, forgetting that Springman is already an assist trophy in the game. And in my heart, it was like, it needs to be either Min Min or Twintel.
Twintel. Why is it's Twintel, right?
Min Min's my girl, but Twintel's got the the game.
Yeah. Also Twintel in honor of Etika, am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like her design is also really cool, and she punches with her hair, which is kick-ass.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I'm a Twintel stan.
In my mind, like especially for functionality, I'd say a more straightforward character, like maybe Min Min would be a better fit. And lo and behold, we did get Min Min for Smash.
Noodle Girl.
Yeah.
I love the
Noodle Girl. With an amazing animated intro where Captain Falcon and Kirby are eating noodles.
Oh man, I haven't even seen the video yet. Oh,
it's fantastic. And like the decision for Min Min to be put into the game was not like Sakurai himself. It was actually the producer of ARMS who wanted her to be in the game.
Oh, nice.
So they're tried and true. She brings a unique moveset where how characters have a normal attack and a special attack for A and B respectively. For this one, her B attack is actually mapped to her right arm, while her A attack is mapped to her left.
Oh snap!
So you're playing ARMS actually in Smash.
Yeah, you're basically playing regular ARMS, and the gimmick is her left hand is always in a dragon arm type. While the right hand is, when you press down B, you can cycle through, I think, 3 or 4 different arm types.
That's amazing.
And then they retain similar inputs, where B is specifically for the right arm inputs, but with the gimmick of being able to change the arm types, it'll change the properties of certain attacks. And,
oh my god, that's so awesome.
That's interesting.
It's cool because I think this is the first character where a smash attack can be performed in mid-air. Because she can charge her like forward punch, either on ground or in air for the long-reaching smash punches, which is also the same for her B attack, which she can charge her B. And there's a gimmick where there's a shortcut input in Smash Ultimate where if you press A and B at the same time, it inputs a smash attack for you. So if you don't want to do the regular jam the direction quickly to jam the control stick to a direction and press A to do a smash attack, you can just tilt it, then press A, B to charge a smash attack, right? But for Min Min, you can alter the A and B because it will control her arms separately, and if you tap them, it will shoot both in succession. So if you press AB, she will shoot her left arm first, followed up by the right. And then you can influence the direction of where the punch goes separately. Like you can tilt it slightly up and slightly down to control spacing and all that. And if you point it down, then it hits the floor. It'll bounce off the floor and redirect its angle just a little bit and all that. And Masahiro Sakurai is crazy, where he basically talks about balancing during a reveal trailer, or this being a standard 35-minute Nintendo Direct, as he usually does.
And this being a new character, and he's already talking about balance changes.
And he was doing it in the comfort of his home because Nintendo sent him equipment to record everything at his home.
Oh God, that's so good.
This poor man. Doesn't he just turn to his bosses and just say, "Don't ever ask me for anything again"?
Right. This is also the man who injured his wrist while playtesting Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS.
Oh God.
Because of how intense he plays. So we got a glimpse of that. This man brought out 2 controllers and played the game by himself. He was showing he was showing the properties of Min-Min's attacks that are safe and unsafe, which is kind of insane. You don't normally see this in like a reveal trailer.
Gee, this is just for the Nintendo Direct for Smash, and
no, this is just already Smash.
Oh, the Smash Direct. It's already this deep
for one character.
Good Lord.
It went in pretty deep. He did a demo game where he was just it was a 2v1 featuring. He was using Min-Min. He was fighting Captain Falcon and Kirby because they appeared in the trailer. And it looked like he was playing some pretty dumb AI, right? And he was, destroying them by doing the same moves over and over again and just spacing it out. Then he goes like, "Oh, level 8 CPU is very tough to fight." Yes. Meanwhile, he was able to do KOs without taking a single hit of damage. And parang, oh my God, this man. They also showed a bunch of new amiibos. They're still working to complete the main Smash roster in amiibo form.
That's so many people.
So Nintendo sent him the new amiibo prototype for Joker from Persona 5, and it looks nice. Hero from Dragon Quest is coming up next, but it's still in its it's not even in its final production state yet. But Joker should be coming out soon, and for characters who got redesigns, how Zelda and Ganondorf look different in Smash 4 versus Smash Ultimate, but they do have amiibos from 4. So sadly, we're not going to get updates to those amiibos since they're technically out for Smash. So we're not going to get cute new Zelda in amiibo form, which is a bummer. But hopefully his sentiment, because he was also saddened by this, would rile up Nintendo to actually produce these things.
So you're saying that Nintendo can be persuaded by crying?
Oh, Masahiro Sakurai does this a lot, and it works for the most part. So
yeah.
I mean, protect Sakurai, man.
Yeah, after that we also get a glimpse of a Fallout collab.
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
That wasn't a joke.
So usually when a new form of DLC comes out, they accompany it with fighter costumes for your Mii fighters. And for this one, the biggest crossover would be the Vault Boy from Fallout.
Miggy mentioned that they actually used the actual Vault Boy face or head for this one.
So usually it would, it's not always 1-to-1, but usually when they put a Mii costume, it would shape around the Mii fighter's base head form. The stretched out face, so it would kind of would look like a hat, or a mask for them and all that. But sometimes the eyes and face would change, but their head shape would still be that elongated form. But for the Vault Boy one, specifically for this one, it looks very much like the Fallout Vault Boy, cartoony design.
And the big head.
Yeah, the big head, and the curvature of it resembles more like the source material than it does a costume for me, which is actually pretty rad. So
I dig it. I dig that it's a Mii a Mii costume.
It works.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if the actual Vault Boy would become a character.
I'd say
will be flying everywhere.
I'd say
violence.
If they would make Fallout a character, it wouldn't be the Vault Boy. It would have to be something a player character would have. and get all the move sets for that. Like maybe the ultimate would be he'd get one of those robot mech suits and all that.
Oh yeah,
a mini
the Brotherhood,
a mini Liberty robot,
Right.
or an Assaultron or something like that.
I mean, Volt Boy could also work because it got fleshed out more during Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 with all the, the traits where he does things in the traits. So
I'd say the base the bodysuit works with the Mii Fighter design, and he is set as a gunner, so Fallout's a shooty game, so that works pretty well for me. There was also a nice little update that he mentioned where, you know how you fight spirits in Smash? Which is basically like, oh, it's a character we can't put in, but here's a little picture of them that gives you a slightly different power buff or whatever. So there are gimmicks where you would fight a character that would resemble the spirit, incorporate their color scheme, and then do whatever similar gimmick they had in relation to the power that it gives you. So they made an update where since certain spirits now have Mii Fighter equivalent costumes, for people who have purchased the Mii Fighter costume, the game would automatically swap out whatever previous fighter was associated with that spirit to the Mii Fighter wearing that costume instead. So the example they showed was Cuphead, because Cuphead was a previous spirit in the game, and you fought essentially a red Mega Man, So what they did was, if you do own the Cuphead costume for the Mii Gunner, instead of fighting a red Mega Man, you would just fight a Mii Gunner wearing the Cuphead costume. And that's basically a free update that they're going to include. They just wanted to bring it up, and it's not going to change for everything right now, but they said that once a new costume in relation to that will show up, they'll just put in the work to automatically switch out the spirit fight for the update. So that's, I think, a really cool move by them. Because we wouldn't know otherwise, right? Because I don't think people play spirits anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a nice surprise for anyone who's, who owns the game.
I think that's a pretty cool move. And spirits are still, like, getting events every now and then. Like, I've booted up the game to look at Stage Builder, and parang there's a bunch of updates. So, like, there's event-specific spirits things still happening that are going on, and they correlate with, like, game releases sometimes.
Whoa.
So this game is what, like 2 years old or something? 2 or 3 years old?
Yeah,
and it's still getting worked on as if it was brand new, which is kind of insane.
I mean, it should be worked on. I mean, not to say like, crack the whip on developers, but I'm just saying it's like you want to give something with a long tail and long service and not just some kind of disposable experience, then you got to be working on that game,
right.
Every once in a while.
It just shows how hard Nintendo works on their first party titles.
Yeah. Unlike Fallout. Hey-yo! Anyway, moving on.
Alright, so before we go to our usual video gaming weeks, is there anything else we can talk about, news-wise or events-wise? I think Matt has something to say about some certain events.
I always have something to say. But like
we're just baiting you actually.
No, I get you. But I guess we could talk about what happened this morning with Microsoft and Mixer.
Oh right, that's a big one.
Some mixed
that happened.
reactions.
That's fresh off the presses
from streamers
who
was involved. Sorry.
So basically, okay. So what happened? I'll recap it for y'all. What happened is that Microsoft announced this morning, or American evening, I don't know what time it is. They announced that they would be shutting down the Mixer streaming platform, and that all existing Mixer partners and services will be transferred or merged with Facebook Gaming. The part of the announcement, this sort of like sudden shock. They said like, we couldn't grow the service fast enough or scale it fast enough to meet our needs for the coming console generation. And that's pretty fair or valid, but it's also incredibly disappointing to, I guess the people who were invested in the Mixer platform, whether they were content creators or whether or not they were viewers. And the thing is, Mixer has always been fourth in line when it comes to the fourth ranked gaming streaming platform, behind Twitch, behind YouTube, behind Facebook Gaming was Mixer. And so what are your thoughts on it?
I think It shouldn't be that bad. Like, given the what do you call this? Like the audience that they're gonna get from Facebook gaming compared to what they have in Mixer. I think it's an okay deal. Maybe the ones that are gonna be affected the most are either the small time or mid time, like medium sized streamers.
Yeah,
Where
I believe
we're
so.
not where they're not they're
Right.
non sponsored streamers or such.
Yeah, like a friend of mine was telling me that, like I was saying, well, first of all, I think the biggest thing for those middle and small streamers is that, like, I don't really understand the logistics about it, but imagine if you're signing up onto a platform like Mixer with certain expectations of where it's going to go, how it's going to grow, how you intend to grow your audience base, you intend to cultivate your business as a professional streamer, and then suddenly Microsoft's like, we're shutting down. And if you still want to be, doing the thing that you're doing now, well, I guess you can go to Facebook. And I'm like, motherfuckers, these guys, we didn't. If I was a streamer, I'd be like, if I wanted to be on Facebook, I would have been on Facebook.
Right.
Like, I signed up with Microsoft.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up with Facebook. And like, my inclination is to think that this is probably what every middle-sized streamer is thinking. The likes of Ninja or Shroud. They're not really
Yeah.
affected because they were already paid money to transfer platforms.
Right.
Now, I think it might be a little embarrassing for Ninja and the likes to come back to Twitch or to any other platform, even YouTube, with their hat in hand saying, "Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry guys." But also, the rumor I'm hearing is that Microsoft made Facebook buy out their contracts. So Ninja is still going to get the money that he was supposed to be getting. Shroud's still going to get the money
Yeah.
that they're still going
Right.
to be getting. Yeah. So again, this is an issue for middle streamers.
and that's I guess great. Yeah. Like for me, like I've told this to our group chat in our Good Trades Brigade group chat, like a Tagalog analogy where parang nasiraan lang yung jeep na sinasakyan mo. Tapos nagpa-transfer ka lang sa ibang jeep na wala kang babayaran. Parang ganun lang yung nangyari. So like it's like overall it's a fine thing that happened because you're
Sorry to
taking
talk
care-
over, sorry to interrupt, but you don't know where that, for some people, when they switch to that other Jeep, they're like, that's fine. But others are always like, kala ko dadaan ako sa Washington.
yeah, exactly. So there are some people who are going to be disappointed, but like for the most part or overall, it's not a bad deal. Like
I'd say it's a really expected deal because I don't know, but like I've never seen a Mixer stream.
yeah, actually, I don't know anybody who actually watches streams in Mixer.
Right. When I first heard of it, I didn't even know it was a streaming platform. I thought it was like because I first heard of it from like one of those Microsoft E3 press cons.
That's right. They were always like promoting during E3. They would always say like, "Hey, while you're watching our Microsoft stream, you can sign on to Mixer and participate in some kind of giveaways or some exchanges or whatever."
I think it was when they announced one of the like newer Xbox One models, like the smaller one, or one of those.
I think it was about the time they announced the Xbox One X, the most powerful console in the world.
Yeah. So like Mixer, I don't think was on anyone's radar.
Yeah.
Like I found out it was a streaming platform a bit afterwards, and even then I never checked it out. And then we heard about Ninja making the big move, and that was obviously like a deal with big money involved.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because business.
Yeah. I mean, I was rooting for Mixer, not because I thought it was a good service. You know how I am, guys. Like, I will root for not necessarily the underdog, but I will root for any service that could possibly like, make the status quo more interesting, more like or challenge like the big players. Not because I want to see the big players taken down. I just wanted everybody to be at their best when it comes to competing with each other for services and audiences. And I think it really sucks. And I also thought that when they signed Ninja, that it was kind of like a mistake, not for Ninja necessarily, but for Microsoft, because what they were doing was they were trying to gain momentum for the platform by creating a top-heavy situation where, high-profile streamers would come over, get paid big bucks, but that didn't. But those streamers who move don't guarantee that their audiences will necessarily follow them, not unless their audiences are incredibly loyal. And what Microsoft, in my opinion, should have done was aggressively promote, support, and finance the middle streamers, the mid-level and smaller streamers, because it's those people who, individually can cultivate small audiences that add up.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be a good position, yeah. But unfortunately, that thing happened, so everyone from Mixer is gonna go to Facebook Gaming. Well, most of them.
It's an option. It's an option.
Yeah, it's an option.
At first I thought it was mandatory, but apparently you don't have to. But if you do sign up with Facebook, I think they're gonna give you a cash bonus.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, most likely. Especially if you're someone with internet presence and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you listening are, just go to Facebook Gaming and,
Yeah, it makes sense because Facebook is booming and they're getting a bit more aggressive with their Facebook Gaming platform.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that those are the two streaming platforms that are warring right now, Twitch and Facebook. So it makes perfect sense.
Mm-mm.
It just makes me wonder why they even tried to make Mixer in the first place.
Well, it was a long time ago. It was 2013.
Wow. It was that long. Wow. It felt much shorter.
Oh, my mistake.
I thought it was
it was
3 years ago or 2 years ago. But
oh, yeah, it was
I think
2016. So. It was called
2016.
Damn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, rest in power, Mixer.
RIPD.
Yeah. So onto our weeks in gaming.
Yes.
So
speaking of 2016, Migs,
yeah,
you and I have been playing this brand new game, which is actually 4 years old.
Yeah. We played. I can't really pronounce the game.
Okay.
Name, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta help me.
I don't give people, smack for not getting this because it is a mouthful, and this particular version is not easy to pronounce either.
7 words.
Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme versus Maxiboost On on PS4.
Jesus Christ!
It's the reason why it's an old game is because it's a port of an arcade game in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time it's coming to. I don't think it's the first time, but it's the first time that it's coming to the PS4 in this scale. Yeah, and one of the first, not the first, but one of the few that has come out or that will be coming out in English for Asian regions. So what we're playing right now is actually the pre-order network test that is going on, which is essentially an open beta for this, that is scheduled to happen every weekend until release on July 30th.
You don't need a PS Plus for this. You can just hop in and go online.
Right. You don't need PS4. You don't need PS Plus for this, which is also really generous. And actually, Migs, we got invited to the closed beta, I think a month ago.
Yeah, we did. And we did get to try it, actually.
We tried it a bit, but that was just for 3 days or a weekend and a half.
Yeah, mostly the weekend.
Friday night to Monday morning, something like that. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be open for everyone if you can download the client. And actually, there are some differences in this one compared to the closed beta we played. There's actually, I think, 2 new characters that were added to this one.
Huh. Okay. I didn't know that.
Aside from the gigantic roster, we're getting 2 new characters also to play with, which I think one of them is the Zaku Amazing from the Build Fighters cartoon.
Oh,
and
that guy.
In lieu of free battle and quote-unquote training mode, we are given essentially the full single-player mode in this particular version.
Yeah, that's weird though. The towers version of this game is just open. You can
all of it, right? It's not just one particular path. It's all the paths, all letters.
And you can just play it and try to practice with it. You can
just play it, right? The only thing is a few functions are blacked out, which is being able to find a co-op partner for these modes, which is fine. But still, this is essentially how you practice your character, because the AI is kind of dumb as rock sometimes. You can get a grasp for the game. instead of having to just fuddle your way through the non-user-friendly training mode, quote unquote.
But for anyone who hasn't actually seen or heard of this game, it's a 2v2 mobile suit battle game that features Gundams
it's a 2v2
and mobile suits.
Arena shooter battler, 3D arena game.
Yeah, so it's like
with
Virtuon or our locally made Garrison Archangel. So
yes,
those games are similar to this game, and it's fun. It's fast paced. It's very skill based, I guess.
Yeah.
And it could be random at times because, of course, the 2v2 nature of this game means that anyone can gang up on you if they want to, or
I think that reflects more of like a player's skill as well, because this is a competitive like game series in Japan for many years.
Yeah. And there's also friendly fire, if I'm not
there
mistaken.
is friendly fire. There always has been for a while.
Yeah.
So like this game has been going on since like the PS2 era, the series rather, the Versus series.
Mm-hmm.
And the formula hasn't really changed, but a lot of systems have been tweaked where it just gets more skill based, reaction based, even that it might be daunting to a new player given how unforgiving it can be depending on who you're playing against. And it doesn't go out of its way to explain anything at all to you. There's no tutorial, no nothing. Just, get your feet wet. Hopefully you don't die before learning anything.
But yeah, so far it's fun. Like, the online beta test did kind of had us check on the possibilities of, whether players can have a smooth game. Surprisingly, we have no problems matching up with players on like yellow bars upwards.
Actually, even red bars proved to have, not underwater combat. But it's not the best still, because you'd either have really laggy underwater battles or straight up the game won't even load.
Yeah.
When you get the synchronizing connection image, that's just not going to happen anymore.
That happens to us a dozen times already during the weekend.
But I guess that's the purpose of this network test, and like given how it's going to run for essentially a month and a half on the weekends until release is kind of insane.
Which is July 30, right?
July 30.
Which is insane.
And looking at it, it looks like the full game with just certain menus blacked out, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure how you can actually like do you gain like rank during the open beta, or is it just these players are just lucky enough to actually pre-order the game and have those ranks unlocked?
Ranked battle is blacked out. It wasn't blacked out in the closed beta. Ranked was open. But also casual play was open. But in this particular version, only casual play is open for online and room battles. But nobody gains rank. That's why everyone is ranked civilian. If you noticed during our 5-hour session of this game.
Because I've been seeing other players that has actual rank, which is weird, or actual titles, aside from civilian. So it's kind of pretty weird if how they
maybe if you did pre-order, or they could be developers. We don't know.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's really fun. Like so far, like for a month and a half, you could just hop in every weekend to try it out.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very generous for the devs to actually open this until launch.
It's kind of annoying that if you follow the Bandai Namco YouTube channel, they keep uploading videos about it, with the only difference being the schedule at the very end. Because it keeps going from Friday, Saturday schedule to a Saturday, Sunday. And there were a few announcements of, schedule shifts because of the current thing that's going on right now. But yeah, almost every day we're getting a new video about the same game, sometimes the same video, but the only difference being the network schedule for when you can play.
There are better ways of doing that.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing we can mention is this gigantic roster.
Yeah, I was about to mention
It's got over 50 mobile suits, I think, which is insane. And all of them are unlocked.
Yeah, you will be lost to actually choosing your favorite mobile suit here. But
So,
there are some mobile suits that are there, but at the same time, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah,
got
like
over 50, and that's already a good chunk of
yeah,
roster. in it.
for sure. Like it's a competitive action game, but it's also like an anime game. So you gotta have your silly little characters where certain moves are like, this does nothing. This doesn't add to the meta, but hey, they did it in the show, and it's stupid and cool, so it's in here. That's for someone.
So yeah, that's I guess that is Gundam. There it is. Maxiboost On.
I'd
Yeah, so
I'd recommend
Maxiboost
anyone
On.
who has an Asian PSN account to search for this. If you type Gundam Versus, it's probably the first thing that shows up. And yeah, try it. We're gonna play it until it comes out, and when it comes out, I'll most likely buy it.
So other than that, Miggy, have you played
That's the one.
basically
That's the
our
big
weekend,
one.
actually. Yeah. But aside, like, I also played that game, but aside for that one, I played tons of games this week thanks to the Steam Games Festival. And I think, Matt, you also did a few game demos during this week. So, Steam Games Festival is an event that happened from June 16 to yesterday, which is June 22. And it's basically a showcase of indie games and demos that are available in Steam for you to download and check on. And they also have like live stream footage of the developers demoing the game. I think
that's the thing that Steam does now, right? Like, well, first of all, it was 900 demos, which means more demos than any of us can humanly consume.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that Steam does now is like every time it's time for a sale or time for a special gaming event, they do the live stream stuff. I think they took their example from Ludo Narracon, which last year where they were held a virtual conference inside the Steam platform where you could watch talks about the games, demos about the games, live stream plays about the games that were being highlighted, and they did that with Steam Games Festival. What did you get to play, Samson?
Oh God, where to start? So, I think I downloaded 9 demos for this one because I really like.
Did you get to play 9 demos? That's the question I have for you.
I just hog every demo I find interesting. Yeah. And so far, God, I forgot one adventure game that I really dig, and it features anamorphic animals where you play as a detective.
You are talking about Backbone Prologue, am I right?
Is that it? Backbone?
It is the one featuring a fox detective who smokes.
Yeah. The raccoon detective.
The raccoon detective, the fox raccoon. See, I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. But
So back. Say we could start that. You played that demo, right?
I have not. I have it installed, but I have not played it. You're gonna take lead in this one.
Okay. So Backbone is a dystopian noir adventure, which is has pixel art as its art style, and it features anamorphic characters. And
but it's really beautiful for pixel art,
charming.
Right?
Yeah, it's really good. Like the pixel art in this one is niche, decent, and you could see the love on this game. And it features a detective raccoon who is out to solve a case of a missing person. And during the demo, that's what you do. You get to check out this district or the city that the game shows you. So, and yeah, like the star of this game is the pixel art and probably the dialogue that they've injected on the NPCs.
Yeah.
Because the dialogue work that they did was really like complex. Like it could go on and on because like if you talk to one NPC, they could yap around, like they could yap about anything or non-related to your case, and you could actually follow through or like ask about that path, and it will just go on into a different dialogue tree, and it's amazing. Like how many script work they do for this game is amazing.
Yeah,
for the demo. Yeah,
I want to impress upon our listeners that Backbone is like incredibly, incredibly beautiful. Like I know people talk about pixel art and they have this expectation of what it looks like. and like it's being retro, but the pixels are incredibly small in this game, but it's still like very pixel like centric aesthetic. But the lighting on the game is amazing. There's all these like sophisticated lighting effects, like lights coming out of the car headlights, neon signs all over the place. It's gorgeous. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you told me it was running on an Unreal Engine kind of situation where the textures are all pixels on the front end, but the lighting effects are handled through a global lighting system kind of situation, point lighting system. So yeah, here I am, tossing technical terms like I know what I'm talking about. But you know what I mean? Like it's just gorgeous. Just Google it now.
It's really beautiful. Like if you just go and check out the screenshots, you'll see what Matt is talking about. Like the lighting effects are top notch there. Like it wouldn't look like a pixel game from far. Like it would look like some sort of like a concept art.
Yeah.
Or a piece of artwork, but it's just pixel art.
And that's what excites me today about pixel art. Because I'm going to talk about another pixel art game after this one. But what excites me about pixel art these days is that people dismiss this as an attempt to be all retro or nostalgic. But the thing is, like, there are things we can do now with pixel art that we couldn't do 15 to 20 years ago. You know what I mean? In terms of like budget and in terms of like scale, more can be wrung out of the average development dollar to make pixel games that just look so astonishing.
But yeah, so far the demo is around like an hour long if you're good at it. Like it has like a classic adventure game stuff that you're gonna do. Like there's puzzles, there's people to talk to back and forth to get something or go to progress the story, and then Backbone actually nailed the demo where it will hook you because at the end of the demo is sort of like a cliffhanger where you get to see the person you're looking for, but not necessarily it's a happy ending. So I like it.
Yeah. I want to talk about another game that's pixel art. It's called Gestalt: Steam and Cinder. This is a very, very interesting game. It is basically a pixel art platformer, and it's more along the lines of like I guess it's like you guys are console guys, so I feel like if I try to describe it, I might get it wrong because I don't understand nomenclature for these genres. But it's sort of like this platformer that has the Metroidvania / Valkyrie profile effect, wherein you're moving around and going into stores and talking to people. But then when you enter the dungeon, you're in the fucking dungeon, right? And it's pretty cool. Like, you should check it out right now.
I'm seeing the screenshots right now, and it sort of looks like what they did with Mega Man ZX, where there are some segments where you can't really attack people, like you just like talk to them or something.
Yeah.
And what else? What else have I played? I played. There's this game called Shadowrunner. Is that right?
Ghost Runner. You're talking about Ghost Runner, aren't you?
Oh, Ghost Runner. Sorry. Yeah, Ghost Runner is a first-person parkour game, I guess. A parkour ninja game where you control like a robot ninja, and it's all cyberpunk with all the the colors that they use.
A robot
in the
ninja or a ninja robot?
Actually, Ninja Robot sounds more.
Ninja Robot was an old cartoon series.
Yeah.
I was making that reference explicitly for you, Mendoza.
But yeah, it's impressive. Like it reminds me of Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean cyberpunk aesthetic. They got it fine. Like it's you have all the magenta and the cyan like blur this in the corners.
I got to play the demo as well. Actually, I liked it a lot. It's very much a fusion of, it's not a fusion, but it's kind of like evokes pieces of games like Dishonored, where it's like you have these fancy hyperactive abilities that let you kill super efficiently with your sword and your cyber magic kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's more like Titanfall with the emphasis on parkour and all of that stuff.
There's actually one thing Yeah, there's only one thing that I don't like about the demo, and it's the feel of the sword. Like it doesn't have that crunch or that crisp when you slash or kill someone. Like
There's no weight to it.
There's not enough feedback too, so
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just swatting flies during the
Yeah,
demo.
I felt like I'd slash and I'd have to stop and look around and say, all right, is he actually dead?
Yeah, because there are times where the thing can get like confusing, where you're doing parkour and you're moving your mouse and suddenly there's enemies there, pala. And if you swat them, you're still not sure if they're dead because there's no sound. Like there's not much sound effect that notifies you that they're dead. So that's something that they could work upon. But overall, it's a very fast-paced, enjoyable demo. What else, Matt? How about you? What other demos have you been playing?
I played Crystalis or Crystales. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's a sort of like a Japanese RPG, a Japanese RPG style thing, but it's actually by a Colombian developer. And,
okay.
Yeah, and it's about this young girl who gains the power to look into the future and in the past, and the mechanics of that are very interesting because what they do is they cut the screen into three parts. So on the left side of the screen, whatever is on that side is always going to be in the past, and whatever's on the right side is going to be in the future. So you can
interesting.
One of the earlier introductions to the concept is you plant a seed in an area, and then you move left so that the seed is on your right, and that seed has grown into a tree with fruit on them.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's really cool, and so that also plays into combat. So in one of the combat encounters in the game has you fighting against a woman with like a steel shield, and you can ask your ally to throw water at them, and then send them to the future, and their armor is like sort of rusty and breaking apart. So it's fun. Awesome. It's cool.
Can't you send the enemy to the future where they're just dead?
I know, right? That's what I was hoping. I was hoping they'd turn old and gray and stuff like that. Because
that might be too cheap, or that might be a final power.
Like, there are. Yeah, I could imagine there might be like a village where you think is alive and well, but in the future just skeletons or like a barren wasteland.
That is part of the plot thrust, because through the events of the demo, the lead protagonist is able to see that her home or her place is like in ruins in the future. So she's encouraged and motivated by her ally, a talking frog in a top hat.
Nice.
Her talking frog in the top hat tells her like, whatever you do today will affect the future, so you have to choose what you want to do in order to secure the future. And there's some puzzles that are choice centric about it, like which house do you save, so that in the future it'll still be there, that kind of choices. I think what's entertaining to me is the visual of the time mechanic, like I said, with the split screen. Because there's this one section of the village where if you walk down and you see some kids, and then you pan right and like they're babies, or you pan left, they're adults, and there's this old man, and I panned the wrong side of him, and he's not there anymore.
Oh no!
And the girl who was with him is now an adult, and I'm like, oh, he died. Oh no!
Oh shit!
It got me really sad. But I also loved seeing like the mayor and his advisors. Like you see them like being dudes and all that stuff, and well, it's a like the mayor, his secretary, and his colleagues are there. And if you move to the other side of the screen, and you see them as teenagers, and they have their own private like teen posse and stuff, it's very cute. Like they were Barcada back in the day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so Crystalis, get that game. It's check out that game. It's published by Modus Games, I believe.
Another game that I played, which is also an RPG, but I think they have like sort of life simulator elements to it, is Haven. I'm not sure if you've seen
Haven.
the
I love that game.
one.
I played that game too in previous festivals or previous events. So cool.
So
Let's talk about this game.
Yeah, so Haven is is an RPG where it features a couple, because at first, believe it or not, when I watched the trailer, I thought they were just siblings. So, but when I actually like saw the actual launch trailer, or like the demo trailer, or the actual gameplay, oh, they're a couple, so that's cool. So the this couple is like stranded in an island, or a planet, or a moon.
They're stranded on an alien planet, basically.
Yeah. So at first, they kind of introduce you how to move the characters, and in this demo, and in this game, you can control two of them.
Yeah.
And they have like gadgets like the sliding boots, or like flight boots, or stuff like that. And there's also battle, which is that's the interesting part, because when you fight in Haven, you use the directional button for the dude and the face buttons for the woman, and you hold each corresponding button for a skill. Like, for example, there's like a beam skill, so you have to hold left or right for the girl, and there's a shield skill, so you have to hold down to guard enemy attacks. But there are also like team up moves where you either push the right directional button and square, or X, and hold it, and then they will essentially like do a team up move, so it deals more damage. So stuff like that, which is intriguing and interesting.
I think the game is really special. Haven, like, I'm really excited for this game, because I think one thing that really grounds this game and sets it apart is the writing. Like, for me, the way I describe it is I consider it like a chill adventure about this young couple who go to a strange new world to be together, and like that's my write up of it on my Twitter account. And the thing that really elevates this game from just being a typical exploration and RPG kind survival game is that quality wherein you really get the sense that the two partners are sharing moments of intimacy and isolation while worrying about things like food or power or other resources that they might need to survive on the alien frontier. While like a mystery unfolds around them, which is where the demo, I think, concludes.
That's what also like got me into thinking that this has like life simulator elements. Like you gotta go and scour food and herbs and other minerals in this barren planet.
They tease on the ship like lots of options to upgrade and improve your life through additions to gadgets, harvesting ingredients for recipes. In fact, I think central to the demo, there's a running gag about how they're always eating apples and they're getting sick of apples. But they're also trying to like, pretend that they're happy together, so they have to like, find ways to spice up their life, spice up their ability to enjoy apples and stuff like that. It's very real.
Like the dude will kind of cheer up the girl, saying, "Oh, look what we're gonna have for breakfast: fried apple juice on apple juice," and they're gonna have a banter about it. That but yesterday we had apple juice on apple juice, and then they're doing this gag about apple juice just being constantly used.
But like the writing is aces.
It's cute, yeah. It's really like charming, and like the graphics also. Man, I actually am impressed on how smooth it is running on my system, and like even the art style is cool. Like it could like I'm impressed how they handle the grass in the stage for the demo. So that's actually cool. Like
you might you might be interested to know that the Haven is also by Game Baker Studio, which is the studio that made Fury.
Oh, really?
Furi.
The top-down boss-only game.
Then that's boss rush game.
Yeah.
So that's why it's interesting, like art style wise.
Yeah.
Like it's really fun. Like, and also it has that weird you could say like a bonus game or a side game where like it's basically a feature where you follow like a trail of light by actually sliding and skating towards it to give you more minerals, and it's kind of addicting to do it on the open world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's what I felt when doing that. So it's really cool. Like it looks really cool. So better watch out for that one.
I want to talk about one last game before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I think we've been at it for a while, but
Yeah.
one last game I think I'd really like to bring up is
Please
a
be at
game
100
called-
years.
What?
Please be 100 years.
No.
Oh fuck.
Oh wait, what's 100 years? Is that the winemaking one?
Yeah. I
What?
love that one.
Oh, you're gonna have to talk about it next week, unless you want to talk about it now.
No. Well, let's do it next week with Carlos. Yeah.
I wanna talk about She Dreams Elsewhere, which is an RPG, sort of like an adventure RPG, about a young black woman dealing with depression. Now, I don't mean to bum you guys out, but I thought this was one of the most artful and exciting and interesting games for me that has been on the demo slate. So you kind of like play this this young black woman who is sort of like going through like crushing millennial angst and anxiety, feeling invisible. It's really like an emotional experience, but then you go into like the nightmare world or a dream world. So I guess it's kind of inspired by games like Persona and
Undertale, I think.
And
From what
Undertale.
I'm seeing for this
Yeah.
different screenshots.
Yeah. It's kind of influenced by Persona and Undertale. And yeah, like I'm really excited about it because the story really confronts issues of mental health while also like contextualizing it from a young black perspective and sort of like dealing with the perception of self and the perception, and how you deal with, feeling unwanted or feeling useless when you're young. I don't mean to bring this down with such heavy stuff, but it's just like, what I mean? Like you don't. It's not very often you get games that try to be, this.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
believe me, 100 years made me like sad about the distillation process of wine. It's
Really?
really it's really frustrating.
Now you know what? Now you got me intrigued because I didn't get to play 100 Years, and now I
Oh,
want to
really?
talk about.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
I saw it in the Steam record on your Steam records, man.
Yeah, because I played it a little bit, but then I didn't
Oh.
understand it because I'm a dum and maybe I was drunk when I played it.
Okay, drunk with wine or
Whiskey probably.
okay. So anything else?
Oh my
about-
god, I
Dreams
could talk
Elsewhere?
about game demos all day. Honestly, like I'm looking at my playlist. We should talk about Evans Remains. Did you play Evans Remains?
No, not yet. The ones that I'm still yet to play are the multiplayer demos that I got, which is Tank Narok and Windjammers 2. I also have The Wild at Heart and Vigil the Longest Night in my list of I need to play these games. I'm not sure why they're not yet like unavailable. Like they're still available now, so I'm not sure why. But I guess I could just play it. But, like as long as you download it, I guess it's available to play it. So, but yeah, we could talk more of the games that we played in the Steam Games Festival next episode.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I mean, I want to play Windjammers 2 with you guys because that's something that. So yeah, I think that is it for the TMG podcast episode 206. For past episodes, you can check us out at our Spotify page or our Anchor page or any of your preferred podcast listening apps or channels.
I believe we're on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Am I right?
Nice. Yep. And of course, we have our Facebook, facebook.com/toomuchgaming. Is that right?
Yeah, and if you want to rat us out for saying stuff that you disapprove of to Carlos, you can email him at contact@toomuchgaming.net.
Yeah. And what else, Matt? Where can we see you the Twitter or the Twitter?
Oh yeah, yeah. You got opinions about video games, or you want to hear my opinions about video games and other stuff? You can follow me on Twitter at @ArceliaMatthew. Yep. And you can catch all of us, Migoy, Miggy, and me, and all the writing we do about all the video games at toomuchgaming.net.
And I guess that is it. Thanks for listening. And of course, thank you for everyone who tuned in to the stream. And yeah, I think that's it. See you guys.
Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Scare.